mean, even if we accepted that some terrorist threat existed out there, and I will just pass a brief comment on the irony of you accusing others of engaging in conspiracy theory. The whole basis of these amendments is conspiracy theory, is the belief that there's a conspiracy out there to cause explosions that is a real and imminent threat, when we have no basis for making such an assertion whatsoever. So these assertions or supposed threats are something you should have to justify and give us credible evidence that such a threat exists and that these powers are necessary and proportionate and likely to be effective in dealing with such a threat if such a threat existed. But of course, you don't want to have that sort of serious scrutiny of these amendments, because that is not the purpose of this bill. This bill is timed, or these set of amendments are timed to coincide with the preparations for the G8. That is the fact, and you should admit it. And it is cynical to engage in that. And can you give us an assurance, Minister, that these powers will not be abused in and around the G8 or in and around other protests? I mean, I don't accept the rationale behind these, or I certainly haven't heard sufficient argument from your side to justify the amendments. But even if I accepted the rationale, shouldn't, for example, you make a distinction between a bomb threat or a threat of the use of weapons and, for example, peaceful protests? Because here the definitions are vague. They're about possible threats to human life and so on. How are those construed exactly? And if you said bomb threats, if you said, you know, if there was credible evidence that people were running around with guns in a particular vicinity threatening lives, well, you might have a slightly more credible argument for saying that we need these powers. But this is much more vague and general than that. And as I see it, there is nothing whatsoever in the way this bill is, these amendments are worded, to stop you or the guards or between you making a decision to turn off mobile phone communications in and around a protest. And it is not conspiracy to suggest that such things might be considered. And I refer again to my experience in Genoa. And that's not a funny experience, Minister, as much as you might smile wryly about it. A young man was killed there by the Italian police. And it produced a huge reaction from Italian people about what went on. And I can tell you I was a witness there. And it was absolutely disgraceful what happened. And it might be of interest for you to know that the person who was the Minister for Justice at the time in Italy, directing this in Genoa, was Gianfranco Fini, a fascist supporter, something I know you oppose.